Hello and welcome back to another setup video here for our Journeyman series. I want to say thank you to anyone that did watch the first video out last weekend, and I've taken all of those results and that will, come into play here for this episode. So we've got 2 votes for you today, and this will pretty much set up our series, and I'm hoping if everything goes to plan, we may start this up next weekend at some stage. I just need a little bit more preparation time, hopefully next weekend. But let's get into this, because today we need to choose the team, and then we need to choose the manager. So you'll have 2 votes for that one. So first of all, I put out a vote last week and asked which campaign style should we play. Should we play the Euro style campaign where we work through the different groups that I'd set up starting in the Irish League, or should we play the Intercontinental campaign, which we did last year, where we go from Australia up to Asia to North America to South America and finally to Europe. The votes came through. The Euro campaign came out on top. 391 votes for the Euro campaign versus 273 for the Intercontinental campaign. So we will be rolling with the Euro campaign and moving through the 5 group stages within the Journeyman. Now, if you're not sure what's happening with the Journeyman, you can go and check out last year's setup guide, but I will put out a new setup guide as a part of episode 1. So you guys can have a crack and have a crack at, have a go at this career mode yourselves. So, first of all, we need to get in to choosing which team we're going to start with in the Irish League. So I'm going to jump on into FIFA now, and we're going to go through every single league team here in Ireland, and we'll have a vote. It'll probably be not in the eye because there's a lot of teams, so I'll do a straw poll. There will be a link in the description down below. You click on that straw poll, it'll have all the teams there available, and you guys vote for which team you want us to start our Journeyman career with. So let's go and have a look at the teams. Right, so the first team is Bohemian FC. They're a half-star team, a transfer budget of just under $500,000, and definitely it could be an interesting challenge starting here with Bohemian. So all of these teams will be on the list to choose through. I just want to go through them. You can see the transfer budgets, and I know you guys are quite sadistical at home. You'll probably choose the hardest option possible, but let's go through them. So Bohemian there, just under $500,000 transfer budget. You've got to think that we're going to be youth scouting and looking for regen, so we're going to need some money. And, well, if you only give me this much, we're going to start with pretty low-rated scouts. We'll jump into the next one, and it is the Bray Wanderers, half-a-star team as well, with $461,000 in the transfer budget. Docs did a cracking series with Bray Wanderers back in FIFA 17, I think. Or was it 16? Not too sure, can't remember, but it was a good series. So there's a challenge. The next one is Cork City, £812,000 there. They're a 1-star team, so a little bit more adventurous. We might be able to get a better scout to start off with. I'll probably just end up selling half the team if I can to generate some funds at the start of the Journeyman. Next we have Derry City, just over $500,000. They're a half-star team. So this is going to be quite tough to really get rolling at the start. But once those youth academy players hit those 60, 65s, we should start dominating the league, setting up our Irish side before we move on to group number 2. And then hopefully that team can push on, start qualifying themselves for the Champions League. And maybe we will get to play them at some stage in this career mode. Next is Draghi United, a half-star team, £471,000. Okay, that would be an interesting start as well. We then have Dundalk, a 1-star team with £824,000 in the transfer budget. Next we have Finn Harps, only $442,000 in the budget. That's pretty low, and a half-star team. Next we have Galway United, which we did start our Journeyman in FIFA 16 with, was Galway, £456,000 in their transfer budget. Limerick FC, $623,000 in the transfer budget, a half-star team. The Shamrock Rovers, $676,000 in the transfer budget, a 1-star team. Sligo Rovers are $516,000, a half-star team. St. Pat's, only $484,000, but they are a 1-star team. 488, well, we're already back to Bohemian. So that's all the teams. I mean, there's not a lot here to choose from, but who's got the biggest budget? It looks like Dundalk had the most money. So that would be good for youth. But obviously, if we're trying to finish top of the table and move on to Group 2 as quickly as possible, maybe the one-star teams will help us out. But that's completely up to you guys. The straw poll down below. Get in there and start voting for which team you want us to start our Journeyman career with. And I'll get that all set up. And we'll look to start in hopefully a week's time. All right, now we need to move on to the second vote of today's episode. Right, so I gave you another option in the last voting video, and it was how should we pick our international job. I said, should we take the first job offer, as we did in the last Journeyman, or did you want to vote on the country? It came out pretty much unanimous for the first job offered, 431 votes versus 258. So we will be taking the first job offered to us internationally, providing we can scout there. So if we get a country offer from, I don't know, Hungary or something, a country that we can't scout, we won't take that one. But, you know, New Zealand, Australia, Saudi Arabia, you know, these kind of small nations that come through, providing we can scout them, they will be the first job that we will take, and that is the career mode. We've got to try and build up their World Cup squad and eventually go on and win a World Cup. So, we need to vote on a manager now. Right, so I've got 5 options for you here today for the manager. This will be up in the eye. You can just vote in this one here. No straw poll for this one. We've got 5 unique players from days gone by. Now, I've chosen 4 players from our previous Journeyman series, and I had a look back at the start of the Forest Green Rovers series. If you haven't checked that one out, feel free. It's a cracking series. And just looked at the managerial vote on who missed out on a job there at Forest Green. So, Simon Luna, the nose from Cheltenham Town's Youth Edition, he is on the list here. He is available to be the manager of our Journeyman series. And the other 4 will be from last year's Journeyman. Now, the first one is Davide Lombardi. He was our Scout Future Star. He did go on and manage our relegation and regen rebuild series with AC Milan. The big Italian stallion striker, absolutely brilliant through the entire career mode. And the deal with the Scout Future Star is we sign him in Season 1 at the first team, and he is the player that we're allowed to carry along. There will be more rules. Don't worry about that. We will cover that in the first episode of the career mode. So Davide Lombardi is there. I'll give you the option to bring him back, just like we had Fabian Bush from FIFA 16. He was the manager in FIFA 17. Then we have 3 of the Finnish lads. We had Finland in the last Journeyman series. We didn't manage to win a World Cup. I think we got to the semi-finals in one of them. But these are the 3 lads that I've chosen. One of them is Tommi Huttunen. He was pretty much the captain of our Finland side. A very strong central defensive midfield unit. Didn't get to the highest rating. I think it was an 86 or so. But just got stuck in. Really showed some grit and determination. And carried Finland for quite some time. I think we scouted him in Season 1. So we didn't even have the Finland job at that stage. So that worked out quite well. Next we have Mikko Aaltonen, the centre-back. 90 overall. Just a huge, huge unit at the back. And he was just an impenetrable fortress. He just gets stuck in, lay some really good challenges, and really held up our defensive line. We had 3 Aaltonens in at the Finland team. It was just a whole team of brothers, although the goalkeeper was a dark complexion, and the other 2 lads were, you know, as fair as the sun. And then the final one is Oskari, the right winger from our Finland World Cup side. 91 overall, incredible pace, and really just worked that wing perfectly, feeding balls into the box. Obviously, we didn't have Lombardi in the Finland team, but as we went through the career mode, I think we had Oskari in our 3rd group when we were in North America, possibly. And then we got him back when we hit Europe and we were controlling Swansea, and we just brought all the Finland players into Swansea, and we managed to get back some of the players that we'd scouted from Season 1. We just built this incredible side, and so that is the 5 lads there. We've got Luna, the nose, Lombardi, the Italian stallion, Mikko Aaltonen, the big centre-back, Tommi Huttunen, the rock in the central defensive midfield, and Oskari, the right winger, 3 of the Finnish lads from last season. So if you did follow that series, well, get in there. You'll know who to vote for. If you're new around here, well, have a look at the cards, maybe go and check out a few videos before you make your vote. I'm not too sure. Feel free to vote whoever you think is the coolest, and they can take the managerial role here in this Journeyman series. So there's a straw poll down below for the Irish team that we're going to start with, and up in the eye there is a managerial vote for who is going to be in control of this series. Everything else I will cover in episode 1, the rules, the regulations, how the groups work, how we move through this career mode, so you guys can follow along at home and maybe you guys can have a go yourself. Most of the guys that participated last season in FIFA 17 had a go themselves and found a really enjoyable way to play career mode. It's quite fast paced, but you know, you get that attachment still with your World Cup side. People have been asking for it. We had to bring it back. But that's all I wanted to cover today. So we're picking the team, we're picking the manager, and then I'll start getting work in the background, hopefully to have this series out for you next weekend at some stage. If it's not out next weekend, I will let you know on Twitter. Generally, I don't like to start a series midweek. I prefer to drop it on a Saturday. So it's really going to come down to time. It is coming up to Christmas and stuff. I need to keep getting the forest green out on the daily. So this series will probably drop three times a week. So nice, fast paced, but only 3 days a week so you can keep up with it and that kind of stuff. We'll see how that one pans out for us. But that's all we've got today. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more hype into this Journeyman series. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks very much. I'm Sparring DK. It's 5 o'clock somewhere and you have a good one.